Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. That is Stephen Treffler. We are the sound. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're back with the fireworks. We gotta turn that off. We were here last week. We recorded an episode. I edited the whole thing. I was uploading it to YouTube, and then it just wouldn't let me. The save file got corrupted. I couldn't go back in to re-edit anything. It was a complete
disaster.
Complete disaster. But we're here now. We're back for you. We got a great show for you. We got a lot of good stuff. But first, some things to mention. There's a lot of things going on. The NFL trade deadline just happened. Was it yesterday or the day before? I think 2 days ago now.
I believe.
Anyway, it was yesterday or the day before. But the biggest move and the what the heck move, Chase Young traded for a third-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers. What? Another big news out of the NFL, the Raiders firing both their head coach, I just said it, Josh McDaniels. I always get the two McDaniels confused. And Dave Ziegler, their GM. A long time coming, I guess. The Raiders have been in dysfunction for several years now. Clean house, fresh start. Maybe they can get through this and rework some things. Free Devontae Adams. That's all I can say. That man's over there struggling. World Series, MLB, Rangers Diamondbacks. The Texas Rangers take it 4-1. Just a beatdown of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, was one game even close?
I think the one game that
they won,
I think it was close that. But the Rangers came into the postseason, just took it by storm. They rolled through the Orioles, who had the best record in baseball in the AL, and I didn't see it coming, but congrats. I mean, it's their first one in franchise history.
There's now only one major Texas sports team that doesn't have a championship, and that's the Houston Texans.
And they never will.
Those were our things to mention. Now we can get on to the actual show. Our first segment, James Harden. Gone. Vamos. See you later. Traded to the LA Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, and KJ Martin are what the Sixers get in return for James Harden, as well as a 2026 first-round pick, a 28 first-round pick, a first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. It's a lot of stuff. And they give up James Harden, PJ Tucker, and is it Philip? Is it Philip or Philippe? Is it Philip?
I don't know. Philippe.
Intrusive? I've never heard of this person.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Steve, you are obviously our resident Sixers fan. I'm sure you have some feelings one way or the other about this. Just real quick before we get into it, what are your just general first reaction thoughts to this trade?
We got hosed. James Harden is not the James Harden that was in Houston, not even close.
No.
So I will say, at least I'm happy with the quantity of things that we got for him. It's not quality, and I understand that. 2 of those guys are going to see the court, probably. Maybe 3, but probably 2. It was a bad move, but it needed to happen. It was necessary.
Yeah. The James Harden had to get out. There's a lot to dissect here. I want to start on the Clipper side of things, then we can move on to the Sixers side of things. This team's not going to be good. This team isn't going to work. It's not going to be what people think it is. And the LA Clippers are delusional or in denial if, they traded away essentially their entire future for James Harden. And I've been hearing a lot of, this is a big 4, and this is the push that they needed to get to that next step. And that's just not I don't understand where people are getting that logic from. So let's break it down a little bit. First of all, your best player is Kawhi Leonard. You cannot trust him. Your second best player is Paul George. You cannot trust him. Your third best player is now James Harden, who the role he's going to play is not the role he is going to want. He wanted out of Philadelphia to be a ball handler, to score 30 and 10 and be the guy. That's not going to work with the Clippers with what they currently have and what they're going to need him to do. What they want him to do is play make. be the point guard. He's not going to do that.
No.
Russell Westbrook, who after leaving the Lakers had seemingly been playing he was starting to come around a little bit. Like he still wasn't good, but he was adapting better, fitting into that role. That's going to be gone now. He's not, because where Russell Westbrook thrives is give him the ball with a bunch of other nobodies out there, and he'll kind of figure it out with the rest. That's where he was great in Oklahoma City. He came to the Lakers where there was none of that, and he collapsed. If the problem for the Sixers or for the Clippers was getting over the hump to win a championship, this did not fix any of that. This didn't change anything to me. I think this is it had to be done, like you said, but I think it's a bad trade from all sides. But Steve, what do you think about it from the Clippers end?
Yeah, from the Clippers end, I think it was more of a desperation move. They're coming into the back years of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It's their last shot at trying to show their fans that this was a good idea to bring Paul George in. I remember when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard got to the Clippers, they were God's gift. I mean, they talked about that Clippers team like it was never going to lose. They were the favorites to win the West.
Yeah.
And because they're both so injury prone, it just never worked. Now you're adding a third guy who can't stay on the court and disappears in big moments, Paul George as well. So it's like, I think it was a last minute desperation. Like, if this doesn't work, we don't have it. And they went and they got James Harden for a bunch of stuff they were going to offload anyways in a season or two.
Yeah.
Your analysis is dead on, because I think James Harden's going to get upset in LA because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to get the majority of the shots. And if James Harden starts taking some of those opportunities, well, they're going to get upset. I just don't see a mesh.
And if, like I said, if the goal is we need to reload, we need some more to get to the finals, James Harden is going to be that guy. Like, the all-time playoff choker, James Harden, is who you're bringing in to make it. Like, it makes no sense to me. And if it's an insurance policy of, well, what if Kawhi and or Paul George go down, that team with James Harden and Westbrook, and last time they played together, they didn't like each other. They both were mad at one another and left Houston. All this talk about the Clippers all of a sudden being the contenders.
No.
So now let's look at it from the Philadelphia side. My number one Philadelphia note I have here is just the Sixers are done. They're done. Congratulations, you're once again going to be a second round exit, unless this is the only thing I can think of that could change that outcome. Unless Daryl Morey loaded up on, like, if you get rid of one or two of those players and a couple of those picks and get another top guy like to pair with Embiid, maybe. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But now next summer, maybe then you start wheeling and dealing. But for this season right now, you're toast. You're just toast. Because not only do you not have the firepower, because you and I are not Maxey believers that he's going to be good enough to be the second best player on a contender.
Don't get me started with him.
And now Embiid is in a position of, he waited years for the process, was the face of it, was really bought into the listen, Philadelphia, I'm here to build with you. We're going to get through this. They get through it. But how? Like, do they really? He's now back to square one where it's like, hey, man, you kind of just got to wait it out until we get some more things figured out, which he's already been through. How much of that is Embiid going to take until he's like, man, I got to start winning? Because Embiid, to me, is a drama queen, and he's a little bit of a baby. So I think after going through all this once, he's not going to want to go through all of it again. And even if he does, I don't think he's going to do it willingly or like openly. The Sixers, they just don't have enough in the tank, and I don't think there's much they can do right now, especially to change Embiid's emotional state.
Daryl Morey has come into this franchise and just obliterated it. We are not a franchise that is sustainable success, that has sustainable success. Joel Embiid, he's going to walk in less than 2 years. Any Sixers fan that wants to tell me I'm wrong, call in, comment, argue with me. Joel Embiid is not going to be on this team because of what Cam just said. The Sixers are done. We're done for the next 10 years. I don't care what anyone tells me. There's not a championship in sight for 10 years.
10 years.
Think about it. How long did it take after Allen Iverson for us to get somebody who was willing franchise, who was a formidable franchise piece? 10 years. Longer than 10 years. If I'm Embiid, I'm abandoning ship. I'm abandoning ship when my stock is high. I'm abandoning ship to the team that I think is going to be the best fit for me to contend, if that's New York, if that's wherever he ends. But the Sixers, this trade, all it showed me is we're about to go into full rebuild.
Here's the thing, and maybe you know the answer to this. I don't know the relationship between Embiid and Daryl Morey, but I would say this whole like what you're saying about, man, the next 10 years are going to be bleak and that's all going to be in Daryl Morey. I just bring Embiid in and say, listen, like just him and say, listen, Harden's gone. We got these pieces. I have a plan. Like if Morey can if there's a plan, if Morey can let Embiid in on what's going on and just say,
probably already has.
I know it's been a long time, but like, trust me. And it's just going to depend on Embiid's emotional maturity if he can do that. And like I said, if Morey really has a plan, because Embiid is the only player you guys have under contract going into this offseason. So you'll have money. And like I said, now you have these assets, and some of these picks are really good. Like these Clippers picks are valuable. So it just depends on what Morey can do. I said earlier, you and I are not buying in on the Maxi's going to be an all-star future MVP. This whole thing, like people are buying in heavy, and the Sixers are clearly buying in heavy on him too. By like, because he's a number 2 guy now. They're like, it's Embiid and Maxey. They're like, if Morey comes out and says, "Nah, we got Embiid and Maxey," done. You're absolutely finished. But here's the other thing, Steven. This will make you even more mad. I wish I would have saved it. I saw an MVP ladder, which, first of all, why are we making MVP ladders?
Tell me that Tyrese Maxey is on it.
He was like 6. He was top 8.
Bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Is a good player, but he's not even top 3 in his class.
James Harden is now a Clipper, and the Sixers are done. Moving on to our second topic, something a little bit different. And listen, actually, before I say it, let me explain what it is first. There has been a lot of egregious tier and ranking systems happening recently within sports, and it needs to be set. It needs to be set right. Things need to be different. And a lot of you are going to say that this is a ripoff of another segment from another popular sports show, and I'm going to say no, it's not. So I created a tier system ranking NFL teams. Okay. I haven't thought of a good name yet. I'm thinking Scandal Scale. I'm still workshopping it a little bit, but ranked all the teams, made up some names. Steve has not seen this list. I have not consulted with anyone else on this list, but I think it's really good. I'm very proud of the work.
I can't wait.
Steve, are you ready to see the tiers?
I want to see it.
Let's bring them out. Roll them up. These are the tiers. We're going to start from the bottom, work our way up, and I get explanations. So at the very bottom, sleeps with their dads. These are just the teams that they're the worst of the worst. Never put your money on them. Never pick them to win. They're bad teams. Second row of teams are just bad teams. It's pretty much like the bottom tier, but it's slightly not as bad. The Falcons swapping out. They bench Desmond Ritter. Can Bajan kind of come back from being sick and carry him? I don't know. Kyle Pitts is trash. The Bears are going through quarterback turmoil, and the Raiders just gutted their front office. So they're bad teams. Purgatory. Teams that I can't quite say are trash, but I can't quite say are okay. The Broncos just beat the Chiefs, but I don't trust them to continue that level of play consistently throughout the rest of the season. Jordan Love was kind of good, and then he was bad, or he was bad, and then he was good. Now he's bad again. I don't know what we're getting at Jordan Love, and the Commanders just lost Chase Young, but Sam Howell's been playing pretty decent the last few weeks, so they're kind of there. I'm not sure what to think of those teams. They're in purgatory. Win some, lose some. These teams are going to win some games, lose some games. They can go either way. The Saints, Derek Carr has been coming around the last couple of weeks, yelling at people, getting fired up. He's all right, but the Saints are the Saints. they're having a lot of internal issues too. I mean, they got to get it figured out. The Rams have been surprising this season. Health issues. People can't stay on the field. Matt Stafford can't stay on.
Mm-hmm.
They can't string together good wins and be consistent. So they're there. The Jets, again, they're kind of like the Saints or the Packers. They were bad and they were good and they're bad. Like, they just move around a lot. I want to trust Zach Wilson. I want to trust their defense, but I just can't. They're the Jets. And the Titans, every time I pick against the Titans, they win. And every time I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with the Titans, they lose. So I don't know. They just go back and forth. These teams go 50-50 throughout the season. Injury setbacks. These three teams could easily move up at least 2 tiers if they had healthy people where they need them. Deshaun Watson is gone. Kirk Cousins is gone. Anthony Richardson is gone. Hard to be good franchise without good quarterbacks, but I think if all those people were still playing, they'd be much higher on this list. So they're kind of right there in the middle. Frisky and fun. The Bucs and the Steelers. Both of these teams have multiple surprising good tough wins, but again, I just don't trust them to be that level of good long term. But I do think that if they were a low seed going into the playoffs, I think both these teams could sneak in as a very last seed. Maybe could be an upset, but again, not put my money on that. Good teams? I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about both of these teams with the Seahawks and the Texans, but there's just something about them both that I'm just like, I don't know if I believe in them. Geno Smith has been playing okay, pretty good, but I haven't seen anything from the Seahawks where I'm like, man, they're a legitimate good NFC team. I think they could make some noise. I haven't seen that yet. CJ Stroud's been surprising people. The Texans have been surprising people. But again, I don't think anyone looks at them and thinks they're actually going to be a legitimate team, but they are just good enough that they are better than all the teams below them, but not quite as good as the teams above them. Now, the guys above them, actual good teams, they should be, but the Chargers be charging, which we know very well. The Lions, I think, are just a piece or a step away from being at that next level, but they're the Sounds team. I picked Dan Campbell and Coach of the Year, so are they a good team? I think we'll find out eventually. And the Jags and Trevor Lawrence, hot and cold. I mean, you can go either way. You and I were out on them for a while, but now they have a 5-game win streak. Is Trevor Lawrence coming back around? Is that team legit? Is Calvin Ridley going to actually start producing? I don't know. Are they actually good teams? We should know that. Conference championship or bust. All of these teams playing at their highest level can make a conference championship, but I'm not ready to say that they're 100% ready to make the Super Bowl. I think if these teams make anything less than the conference championship, it's been a failure of a season. And I had Dallas and the Bengals lower than this, but as I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, Joe Burrow's been playing really well, and as much as I don't believe in the Cowboys, I can't honestly sit here and say that if they don't play at their best, highest level football, that they won't make a difference. So they got to be up there with conference championship. And at the very top, just straight contenders. All these teams can make and win the Super Bowl. It's just a matter of if they actually will. Nothing more to be said there. Steve, this is the first installment of Maybe Scandal Scale, name pending. But give me your thoughts. What do you think? This is perfect.
First off,
thank you.
Round of applause for this. This is very well put together. I really like this list. There's only a couple of things that I personally would change.
Sure.
The first one that I would change is I'm putting the Bills up over the Ravens. I'm dropping the Ravens down, putting the Bills up. I just believe in Josh Allen. I know they're on, like, it's the same thing we've said. Okay, they've lost, 2 or 3 in a row, but, like, so have the Niners. And I think that the Bills, when Josh Allen is playing at his best, they are contenders. I think he's shown us in recent years that when he elevates his game in the playoffs, and he can. The last time I've seen a successful Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, it's been 4 or 5 years. So, yeah. So that's why, to me, just based off what I know and what I've seen, I would put the Bills up over the Ravens. That's just me. I like the Ravens where they're at. They've just had a couple of losses, and even in their wins, they've been like, man, like, they look okay, but, like, they've only had 1 or 2 wins that I've been like, yeah, like the Lions win, I was like, yeah, that's a good team. And then the only other thing that I wanted to question you on was the Jags being below the Cowboys. I only because of how well the Jags have been playing. The Cowboys have, dude, they're so like bipolar because they can come out one week and look like holy crap, they're amazing,
Yeah.
and then they can come out and I'm like, ha,
yeah,
got me again.
The Jags started off not great. They're playing better now, but
Yeah,
we were not we were not seeing the same Trevor Lawrence, the same Jags team as before. And same with the Cowboys. Like, they've looked up and down, like you said, but I know if both these teams play to how they can, and when the playoffs come, if they play playoff football, I would give Dallas the slight edge because I think Trevor Lawrence is better than Dak. But I think other than that, the Cowboys have better weapons on offense, positions on defense.
The only other thing that I want your opinion on, and I want to see what you think. I would move the Chargers down one and just keep 2 at actual good teams and have 3 at good teams, ? The Chargers with one nice win over a bad Bears team does not impress me. And anytime they played teams that are actually worth anything, they just choke and can't win. So it's I wondered why, is there a reason that you didn't have them on the same tier as Seattle and
there were a few teams on here that moved a lot, moved around a lot for me, and they were one of them. They moved between those 2 tiers, and the Chargers be chargering, but I just don't if they played 1-on-1, I would pick the Chargers to win. I know Justin Herbert, like I said with Lamar, has not proven anything in the playoffs yet, but I think when it comes down to it, you're still going to pick Justin Herbert to beat Geno Smith. And this might come back to bite me in the ass. But I want to believe in the Chargers. They should be good. They have a nice defense. They have a good offensive line. Justin Herbert's a top 5 quarterback. There's no reason they can't win games and be good. So, and I just don't feel that way about the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a good team. I think the Seahawks can make the divisional round or the divisional round, but I just don't see them making a conference championship. But I could see the Chargers. Do I think they will? No, but I could see that more than the Seahawks. Yeah, I worked hard on this list, man. I just tried to use my like I said, they were kind of
common
feelings.
sense.
Yeah, there's. If I had a team of producers, maybe I could have had some more better stats. But yeah, it's just what I had to go off. But I'm glad you liked it. I thought this was good. We should continue to do this.
I agree.
Fun. Yeah,
I agree.
Moving on to our third and final topic of the day. It's everyone's favorite sports gambling segment, Parlay All Day. Parlay All Day is where Steve and I make 2 little 4-leg parlays, NFL, NBA, same game, whatever. And we're like, hey, these are going to win you money. They're going to win us money. So let's all have a good time and make some money together. Pretty straightforward. Steve, I really enjoy my parlays, so if you don't mind, I would like to go first because I think this might be one of the best ones I've made since we've been doing this. I think so.
Sure.
First. All right. So, first and foremost, I got the Bills money line versus the Bengals. And when I said it, when Steve and I were talking about this earlier, he was like, I don't know. And I was like, listen, I don't know either. This game could go either way. They are not favored to lose by that much. But the Bills, I think, are due for a win. They're in that. They're very like this. They're at the down right now. I think they're going to be going back up. And the Bengals, the opposite way. They were going down. They're on the uprise. They're got to be due for something to go wrong eventually. This might be the game. Bills money line against the Bengals. The Giants money line against the Raiders. Now, that's a big one, but let me explain. The Raiders are going through a tough time right now. They got no coach. They got no GM. Devontae Adams is angry. Jimmy G is dead. Things aren't happening right now in Las Vegas. And I think because of all that turmoil, it's hard to win football games like that. And the Giants are going to use that to their advantage. Giants money line against the Raiders. The Miami spread against the Chiefs. Plus 1.5 for the Dolphins? Are you kidding? I don't think that the Chiefs are going to blow them out that hard. So that's what I got. Ravens Seahawks minus 5.5 spread. Now, the Ravens do have to win that to beat the Seahawks, but as I mentioned in the previous segment, I'm not really buying into the Seahawks right now with what they got, and the Ravens, I am. I think Lamar is going to run through that line, and I don't think Geno's going to be able to handle Baltimore's pressure. I think they'll win by more than 5.5. That's what I got for you. Bills money line, Giants money line, the Miami plus 1.5 spread, the Ravens minus 5.5 spread, $10, 143 payout. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Steve, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
That's a great bet.
Thank you. I think it sounds tremendous. What do you got for us today?
I saw something that broke my heart while you were reading through your.
Oh no!
Bob Knight died.
That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. R.I.P. Bob Knight, one of the best head coaches of all time.
Legend, bro. Yeah. Legend. Anyways, all right. Sorry, I didn't know that happened. That was news to me.
That should have been a thing to mention. I forgot about it too.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. All right. So for my parlay all day, I have AJ Brown anytime touchdown score. AJ Brown is second in the league in receiving yards right now behind Tyreek Hill. I think that AJ Brown, anytime you want to put him down for a touchdown, you're putting good money on the table. So Tyreek Hill for a touchdown. The other guy who I just mentioned, he's leading the NFL in receiving yards. And listen, Tyreek Hill is an MVP candidate right now, probably top 5, top 6. He is the best wide receiver in football. And anytime you want to put Tyreek Hill down for a touchdown, just like AJ Brown, I think those are two great bets. Jamar Chase for a touchdown this week. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have, like we just said, they've been playing a lot better recently. When Joe Burrow is playing well, Jamar Chase is playing well. Weird coincidence, huh? But yeah, I got Jamar Chase for a touchdown. I think that in prime time, your best players play their best. So listen, some people say this is a hot take. I don't think it's a hot take. I got the Eagles with a minus 9.5 spread over the Cowboys, meaning the Eagles are going to win by 10. I do not believe in Dallas. I don't believe in their defense. I think they're good, but without Trayvon Diggs and just as up and down as Dallas has been recently on both sides of the ball, they've had bad losses. I think that the Eagles are going to absolutely trounce. The Link's going to be rocking at 4:30 on Sunday. I just think the Cowboys are going to have it's going to be like 31-10. I just don't see Dak Prescott playing well against that Eagles defense, especially with the addition of Byard in the backfield. I mean, in the secondary, I got the Eagles beating the absolute brakes off of the Cowboys this Sunday. So AJ Brown for a touchdown, Tyreek Hill for a touchdown, Jamar Chase for a touchdown, Eagles minus 9.5 spread, $10 should get you 148.
That's a good that's a good bet. We got two good ones going.
Yes, we do.
We didn't get to mention this because last show didn't air. The Dolphins Eagles game that we went to was absolutely tremendous. It was an experience.
That game was amazing. It showed me a lot of both of our teams, and it was just an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah, I wanted to pick the Eagles money line for my parlay all day, but
never bet on your own team for money.
I think they're gonna win, but that could go either way, so I just don't trust it. Like, I don't want to put money on that. Regardless, we should have two $10 bets that make you money anyway.
You should walk out with $290.
Just about. You really should. Yeah, you really, really should. So put your money down now, place your bets, and good luck to all of us. And that was it. That was our show for today. Pretty good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed. We are glad that we're here. We're sorry once again about last week. Just things out of our control. But we're happy that we could be here.
Fulmora, get your shit together. Get it together. I know you can hear us. Get it together.
Yeah, they
Ice appeared last weekend. It was supposed to appear last show.
Nope.
It was supposed to appear and it didn't get to. Fulmora, figure it out.
It was Saturdays with Steve.
Saturdays with Steve, I'm sorry. Saturdays with Steve was supposed to air and Fulmora screwed it up.
Which now no one even knows what that is because we didn't get to explain it.
You will know.
People will be aware, but we're happy that you guys were here with us today. We hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed watching and listening. And always remember, if you are ever in need of intelligent, cogent sports analysis. Listen to the sound. We will always have you covered. Thank you so much for watching us today, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.